This is the Golf PGA Houston Open preview for Monday, October 7th, 2019. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Betmaker Show, Brian Blessing.
All right, we love talking golf. We love talking with Cam Stewart. It's Brian Blessing, and away we go to Houston, the Houston Open. Different time of year, could be a completely different animal. It's the fall series. Cammy, again, this is a result of the change of schedule this past year, which I think was a home run, where the PGA was moved up, FedEx Cup was moved up. They didn't compete against football, but all of a sudden now, tournaments like the Greenbrier and the Houston Open are played in the fall, where the Houston Open used to be the tune-up for the Masters and was one of my favorite tournaments because last year Ian Poulter had a win to get in, and he did.
No, yeah, you're right, Brian. I'll tell you something, though. I give the PGA Tour full marks for everything they've done. They understand. Unlike, NASCAR, who's like competing during football, it doesn't work that way. And some tournaments are going to be affected. Some win, some lose. The Houston Open, it loses, but, it's been great golf. We talked about Cameron Champ a couple weeks ago. That was emotional. We got a playoff with Kevin Na and Cantlay. I got to be honest with you, for these smaller grade tournaments, the golf seems to be pretty good, and I'm finding myself watching golf along with the football and hockey and everything else that's going on. Interesting tournament this week. I know I'm looking at the favorites here. Our boy Henrik Stenson, 11-1. He's really done well at the Shell Houston Open before, and it's a pretty weakened field, Brian. We could find some value with some deeper odds guys. And, hey, we hit it with Na. I got to give you a lot of credit. You talked about the hometown player last week, and Kevin Na from Vegas. You talk about him playing at Southern Highlands. 66-1. He gets it done, Brian. He did everything he tried to do to piss away that tournament triple bogey. Like, he made shots like he looked like me out there in a couple holes. It was actually embarrassing, but you got to admit, the guy's an emotional guy. He got it back together, and it was weird to see a guy like Patrick Cantlay make some loose shots because that guy's usually a robot.
Well, the one thing about the Vegas tournament, I mean, Na should have won in a walk.
Yes.
And he had a brain cramp on, I believe it was 10. Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, I played TPC Summerlin 3 times this year. I had a ball watching the tournament because I know every shot they've got. I know where they are. I know what they're facing, which is just kind of a treat. When you know what's actually ahead of them, and you go on TV, just doesn't do justice to it. My wife, when we're sitting there, I go, look at that. I go, that just looks like the guys, they're always hitting it to that hole. That looks like a nothing burger. I said, Marie, if that ball hits 2 feet short, that ball's going to roll down that hill 45 yards. And on TV, it looks like nothing.
Yeah, I know. You said it, and that's what happened. I remember at the end of the tournament, Cantlay's sitting there. He should have won the tournament when Na was imploding. I'm like, the guy's hitting 9-iron instead of 7 or an 8. What happened, Brian? It just got on the, literally 1/2 a foot. If he hits it a little bit harder, he's probably tapping in for birdie. Then it goes, starts to roll down the hill, into the water. Here we go. No, you said it. Very subtle hills on that course, and they went low. I thought they were even going to go lower than they did after talking to you.
Well, look where Na was. I mean, he could have been 27, 28 under par.
Sure.
The prop was 21.5, so it made it over that ridiculous total. The thing is, I can't believe he held on and won this thing because literally I thought he was going to play Russian roulette with 5 bullets on number 11. On 10, you have a 3 or was it 3 or 4?
It was a 4-shot lead.
He's got a 4-shot lead.
I know.
And the pin's in the back, and just hit it 7 feet short, and he's putting lights out. Just bogey's fine, and the idiot hits over the back of the green and takes a triple, and whatever. He gutted it out. But Kevin Na, former winner, DeChambeau, former winner, top 4.
Cantlay.
Pat Perez always plays good in the beginning of seasons and then unravels. Cantlay's a former champ. And to that end, here, I'll throw one at you, bud. Oh, well, let's see where I can find him. I think he bogeyed the last hole. The kid was an amateur. Jack Trent.
Oh, yes.
He's an Australian, right? But he plays, he was 15 under par, and he bogeyed 18. He's an Australian kid who plays for UNLV and won a tournament to get in the tournament and was a member at TPC. So if that doesn't tell you local knowledge means something, in all these tournaments. How many years? Like stuff like you and I have always talked about, like a Martin Laird at Quail Hollow, or Webb Simpson. Now the cat's out of the bag, but anything in Carolina, Webb Simpson, right? These guys, when they know every blade of grass, it makes a difference. Zach Johnson, what was the other one? Steve Stricker up in Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah. At the John Deere.
Every year, right? Yeah.
No, you said it, too. And take a look at the tours. Girl Cheyenne Knight needs to win. Get a tour card. Boom. She wins in her home state. John Rahm in Spain. He's Spanish. He crushes the field in Spain. Look at the leaderboard. All Spain flags. This tournament, you said it. All the guys that have done well before, they always crush at the same tournaments, Brian. Should be interesting. That's what Stenson, it's a different time of the year, but Stenson is like money at the Houston Open. He's always top 5. Like it's basically a lock, but 11-1. I need a little bit more there, Brian. Just a little bit more.
I have yet to see matchups, but I will just throw this out. Honestly, I would be borderline surprised if he even plays. But Pat Perez.
Oh, he's there.
Well, he's on the list, but I've got a funny feeling. What are we looking at, Cammy? We got him 25.
Yeah, it's a pretty good price.
All right. Playing really good. But, Cam, they didn't explain it, how it happened, but they said it a couple of times on the broadcast yesterday. He fell. Did you hear this?
Yeah. He's got an elbow shoulder problem. Like he was cranking it like a pitcher, trying to like loosen it up. No, I was watching the golf, Brian, because I had a heavy interest. I had a piece of Cantlay and so I was flipping from the afternoon NFL, and I was watching the golf intently. Yes, he does have it looks like a shoulder elbow injury type of thing. He hurt his arm. He fell, but he had
shoulder surgery in his past. But and they didn't say how he fell. We all remember Dustin Johnson was the favorite at the Masters and fell downstairs. I don't know what's so hard for golfers to just like walk and get your morning cup of coffee. Why these guys are falling all over. But he fell, and they didn't explain what it was. But so they mentioned it and said, "Oh, Bear's watching." Then he's on about I think it was number 12. And the guys walking with the group said, "Yeah, he's starting to get sore, and he loosened up and adrenaline, and he played through and he got through the tournament." But I'm telling you, you know what it's like. You fall and you think nothing of it, and then the next day you end up with welts and purple.
No, it's true.
It's like a car accident. So all I'm saying is, if he does go and play, I'd be fading him in matchups left and right because on paper he played good this week. I got to believe he's going to go in there and he's going to be sore. And Pat Perez's demeanor, too. He is fiery.
He's a hothead.
He's a hothead. Well, it's like, it was like Koepka was 8-1 in Vegas, right? And you and I are sitting there going, the great players don't go there. Cam, I walked the course on Saturday. The rough is not, I could take a golf ball, I could drop it in the rough, the first cut of rough, and the ball's sitting up like it's a fairway. So, that's why Mickelson was doing well. He was all over the course, but he wasn't getting penalized, for hitting it in the rough. So take all that stuff with a grain of salt. This was a putting tournament. But I'm just saying, if indeed Perez, well, back to the Koepka thing, he's probably there. He does. Everybody's going 63, 64. He comes out of the gate, nothing special. I'm telling you, on Friday, he's sitting there. I don't want to be here. And he's better off. He's better off. Seriously, to go out and on purpose shoot par or something and go home. He's like, I'm out of here. I got no shot to win this. And he just gets out of there. And that's what happened. So Perez, I would just say, fade him. Because if he does play, I can guarantee you he's going to be sore. And he's also going to do the same thing Koepka did, going, I don't feel good. I'm hurt. I'm just going to get the hell out of here. Fade this guy in matchups.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Pat Perez, it's almost crazy, Brian. He had his C game, and Kevin Na and Cantlay tried to give him the tournament. He just missed on a couple bomb putts too. I'm watching, going, if this guy wins and Cantlay or Na doesn't win, I'm going to put my head through a wall. I was just about to text you when Na hit the triple bogey. I was in orbit. I was Brian, I'm like, not again. Please don't do this to me again. I need to get paid. And I'll tell you, Na did everything he could. I was watching this guy, wanted to wring his neck through the TV, and Cantlay, I've never seen gag like that before. You said it, though. Pat Perez played good golf. It's interesting to see, though. He's a very, very emotional guy, and you're right. At 25-1, if that shoulder flames up, he might just say, what the best is to? Say he plays a couple holes and he WDs. That's official. If he tees it up, that's the beautiful thing, and I've been burned like that before. If he withdraws before the tournament, fine. But if you have a matchup bet and he hits one damn shot, you could sit there and collect going, that was brilliant. So good advice to the people, Brian. I like that. If this guy goes out at hole number 3 or 4, oh, my shoulder, my arm, you know what I mean? You got a matchup at ching, cha-ching, you win.
You know, it was so funny, and this is going to sound stupid because I'm just a hack, you know, but I mean, I'm watching the tournament. Like I said, I played the course so many times, and the only guy I saw do it, I do it all day long when I'm there, was the drivable par 4 15. Headwind was dead left between the bunkers. And I take a hybrid and basically putt it up the hill because the false fronts, they're like greens. And he had a great shot up and down. But all these guys, and they're amazing, but off these really tight lies when you're trying to chip and be precise, and they pull it off left and right. But like I'm sitting there, the Kevin Na triple when he's behind the green. And David Duval said on these, I don't understand some of the decisions that are being made here. But I mean, I'm behind. I've had that shot, and Kevin Na's great. I mean, who am I? I'm a slug. But I'm behind the green, and I'm looking at this. He's got the hill. He could bunt it up the hill, and he goes for the hero shot to try to chip it into the hill, and the club goes off in his hands. I mean, if you just take the hybrid and bunt it up the hill, he takes double out of the equation. I don't know. I mean,
no, it was crazy. It was crazy because his caddy is a guy, they talk about it like he has the final word in the relationship. I don't know what the hell happened. Did he see a buddy there? He started thinking about it. Wow, I could win in Vegas. Like, he had a mental fart that was like absolutely unacceptable for a pro golfer. I'm watching this thing going, these aren't even hard shots, Brian. You said it. I'm an absolute chop. I can't play golf, and I would have played that hole better than Kevin Na. It was ridiculous, but you got to hand it to this guy. He wouldn't go away in the playoff, and he finally gets it done. It's weird to see Cantlay miss a short putt, but I'll tell you one thing about Na. If he can get his head straight, this guy's putting is absolutely phenomenal. I remember back in the day, Lauren Roberts, the boss of the Moss, he'd hit anything. And I watch Kevin Na. Every time he putts, I think it's going in the hole. His putting is fantastic. If he can figure it out how to keep it tight off the, hit fairways and greens, this guy's going to win a lot of golf tournaments, man, because his putting is fantastic.
For outstanding information and special offerings and promotions, we invite you and encourage you to sign up for our newsletter today simply by going to the website at betmaker.com. All right, let's look ahead to this Houston Open, and a couple of guys. Stenson, yeah, he's a machine. Daniel Berger, I'll let you do it.
Hey, Burger time. I got a little piece of Burger time. Like, I'll tell you, he's getting back there. But I'm telling you, Brian, the books aren't stupid. 2022, that's low for Berger. I need a little bit more. He's starting to trend, but I can't take him at that price. But I'm looking at Berger very hard.
Interesting. If memory serves, and I think I'm right, isn't Matt Jones a former winner in Houston?
I think he is, or very close. I know Matt Jones had 2 times where he went to Houston. Remember that time he hit it in the hospitality deck or something? Like, I think that was the Houston Open. I'm not sure. Might get some tournaments mixed up, but I remember seeing Matt Jones on leaderboards in Houston a lot. 33. It's interesting, Brian. I like a lot of guys around that mark. Denny McCarthy played well last week in Vegas. Maybe he could keep it up till he hit one in the drink. Russell Knox is always a factor. Those 33-1 guys look pretty damn dangerous. Kyle Stanley, he played okay. He had a couple loose shots in Vegas, but he's a very, very dangerous golfer. A lot of those 33-1 guys. Munoz has already won in the second half. A lot of quality there at 33.
Denny McCarthy's a good call. Cam, you're talking about Perez. McCarthy's the one, actually. If he doesn't hit it in the drink on 17, if he birdied one of the last 2, he was in the playoff.
Well, I know. I've been betting Denny McCarthy before, too. Like, I've been following these guys, these young guys coming up, and McCarthy looks like he's turning the corner. He's a guy that we have to keep our eye on. I don't like the price this week when I'm getting McCarthy's at 66s. Now I got to get 33 because he's in good form. That's not good enough for me, but I would not be surprised if Danny McCarthy was in the hunt, page 1 or 2 of the leaderboard come Sunday in Houston.
Is it a bargain to bet Burgoon?
Yeah, Bronson, bargain Burgoon. Yeah, Burgoon. See, I don't know what we're going to do with BB here, but 50-1, meh. Actually, I'm looking at another guy in the 50-1 range too, actually. We can't bet everybody, but we'll give like a 3 or a 4 pack, maybe a 6 pack with a couple bombs. But Luke List played well last week. How's the putter? He's 50-1. I could see him eating this course.
There's
up.
a 50-1, right? I know who you're going to say.
Beau Hossler?
No.
Is that who are you going to say? Kevin, take me to the chapel?
No, Nick Taylor.
Oh, Nick Taylor.
Wasn't Taylor leading after the first round in Vegas?
Problem with Nick Taylor's a great golfer. Can he close? That's why I like Hadwin. I'm going to tell you something as a Canadian, Brian. A lot of the time we choke. Like, it's just bet against. I'll tell you, if a Canadian's going to do something well, bet against him other than Andreescu, the tennis player, and Hadwin. Everybody else, they'll fall apart. Maybe not in hockey, but in individual sports, they can really disappoint you and take your money. But those guys, he's a top 5, top 10 machine. Can he close the door? Hey, that's the question.
Another week. I mean, he comes out of witness protection and he's on the board again. Lanto Griffin.
I know. What's up with Lanto? Lanto bulletproof Griffin. He is not afraid of bullets. Harding. How do you know? Like, ever since, I don't know, we should get on. I'm starting to think like a caddy. We should, hey, Lanto, you got to start, sawing me and Blessing off here. We mentioned your name and all of a sudden, another performance where Lanto's getting paid. What is going on with this guy? He is just, ever since he's been on tour, you got to love if you're one of these new guys on tour, you must love this season. All the big boys aren't there. You're certain to think, I could make some money. Yeah, Lanto's really saving for his future, Brian. I got to be very, very impressed with, Freedom 35 starring Lanto Griffin. This guy looks to early retirement if he keeps up these top 20 performances. He's making dough.
You know what? I got one for you, buddy, as we're skating through these. I think Andrew Landry's an overlay at 66
That's
to
a good
1.
Call.
But
Andrew Landry should be about 40 in this tournament with this field.
But you know who played really good and he had a brain cramp? He missed a 2-footer, or he was in the discussion late in the day. Brian Gay.
Brian Gay? Yeah, Brian
Gay played really good.
He did, man. Brian Gay looked like he was in really good form last week. You said it. He had an easy putt that he just didn't even concentrate on, blew it by the hole. I was like, what's this guy doing? He was right there when Cantlay were gagging. Gay and McCarthy were in the mix. Yeah, Brian Gay at 66 to 1 looks really, really good, Brian. We can't bet everybody, but I'm looking at some of the guys in the numbers, and Gay's one of those guys. Like, once he pops up, he could be there, and he would have no problem closing the door in Houston. Good price at 66 to 1.
Let's close the door. I'll go Denny McCarthy, current form, 33 to 1. And I think Nick Taylor's viable at 50. And I'm going to go with the two guys at 66, Gay and Landry. I think those are 4 reasonable plays in a really nice return on your investment.
Yeah, I'm going to play your guys because, if one of our picks to click doesn't win, I'll just be thinking about it all week. But I'm going to start off with Kyle Stanley Tools, Brian, at 33 to 1. I think that's a good price for him in this field. I really like Kyle Stanley. I think he's kind of an underrated golfer, and once he gets that putter going, he'll be unstoppable. His tee to green game is absolutely fantastic. Then I'm going to go with the Texan, Big Beau Hossler at 50 to 1. I think he's getting closer. His form seems to be rounding out. What do we talk about, Brian? I'm going to practice what I preach. Big Texas guys in Texas. Give me Beau Hossler, the Texas guy, at 50 to 1 at the Houston Open. And Luke, what's on your list at 50 to 1 too? I love your pick of Nick Taylor at 50. Got to sprinkle on the Canadian, though. He might break your heart on Sunday.
All right. Hey, by the way, I just went and looked. I mean, basically, it's spring now. I mean, the weather's good everywhere. That's why I was just double checking on Matt Jones. But know this, we get to these winter months, don't forget, it's summer in Australia, and in the early stages, what seems like the dead of winter for us when they go to Hawaii in the early stages of the year. Always be wary of the Australians because they have their Australia Masters over there with the yellow jacket, and the Australians are lethal early in a season because they're playing summer golf and the get along gang, and everybody else is snowboarding or yachting.
Yeah, they're having sex with their beautiful wives, and they're tapping the keg, and they're on yachts. That's the get along gang. They're kids who have money and they're partying. Like, we laugh at the get along gang, but they're living a pretty good life. I'd like Ricky Fowler to stop doing commercials, though. Like, I don't know why he got to be the spokesperson for every damn product, but I would like it to stop. Matt Jones at 33 to 1. That's a very interesting proposition. He's an Aussie, and I remember following this guy at the Canadian Open. A girl at the time wanted to have sex with this guy. She's like, "Oh, he's so hot." I'm like, "You're an idiot." Anyway, Aaron Baddeley, he's another Australian too. God's friend. I think he likes the Bible, and he likes birdies. BB. What about Aaron Baddeley? He's an Australian, isn't he? Or pseudo-Australian, or I don't know. Find him at church when he on Sunday. Except for this week, he might be on the leaderboard. But He's 50-1, Brian. The thing about Baddeley is you never know. He's one of those guys you'll pop up and go, oh, I remember him. You know what I mean? He's kind of like a ghost. Like he's a good golfer, but
it's funny.
He disappears like Casper.
It's funny, man. I mean, we love the golf. We follow it, and you watch him on TV, right? And these guys look bigger than life. And like I thought Adam Scott was this like big, tall, lanky. He's not that tall. I mean, and they have Cameron Smith walk by me. He's 5 foot nothing. You know, these guys are just great at golf, but TV makes them look bigger than life. And you've had fun experiences on the course. We're out there on the weekend, and nobody on this one hole. We're on number 7. We're just standing in the back corner. I swear to God, me and a friend who lived on the course, we're the only 2 people on the side of the green, and there were maybe 15 people on the other side, but we're right, and the pin's cut to the left, and we're standing there, and DeChambeau's muttering under his breath coming up the hill, hit a great shot over the top of the flag, and it spun left for some reason. He comes over the hill, he looks at me, he goes, where'd it hit? And he's looking all around for the ball mark. I said 5 feet behind the flag, right over the flag. I don't know why it spun left. And he looks and he sees the ball mark behind the flag. Oh my God. I mean, I thought his head was going to explode. And then his caddy come up and he goes, it spun left. Right. I mean, you know, it's funny. You know, the TV and the cameras and everything's around them, you know, but when they're out there playing and there's no one around them, I mean, they're just guys, you know, and
that's the thing.
Picture yourself in a foursome where you're chirping with your buddies. And believe me, if the cameras aren't around and they know the cameras aren't around, they're talking a lot different.
Oh, yeah. No, you said it. They sound like my girlfriend at the casino. F-bomb, F-bomb, F-bomb. I want a double vodka. F-bomb, F-bomb, F-bomb. What about my credits on the video slot machine? I know. You see DeChambeau, you tell me him and his caddy are dropping F-bombs. Like they're at a party there, and next thing, hey, how you doing, friend? Like the camera comes on. It's like, oh, you said it, Brian. Like it's a whole different scenario there, and it's kind of cool when you get to see that stuff, too. Like I told you at the Canadian Open a long time ago, Freddie Jacobsen, 150-1. I'm yelling at him. Come on, Jacobsen. What are you doing? Guy triple bogeys a hole. I will try to do better for you. It's like, hey, you know, it's a lot of fun. You said it. These guys are just regular dudes who are exceptionally good at golf, and on TV you think they're like some kind of like heroes, and then you and then you actually see them up close and go, really?
But they're, you know what? The funny thing, I mean, I loved it because they're people, you know.
They are.
But the crazy thing is, I mean, they are when you watch them play. Some of them have, you know, different swings, but they're robots. They're unbelievable. They just walk. I mean, they're distance control. I mean, they're robots. It's amazing how good they are.
That's the thing. We look at you know, we'll wrap this thing up. We look at Tony Romo, and you know, it's amazing to me how good Tony Romo is just doing the football broadcast and stuff, and even being able to compete, Brian. And you saw the first round where he beat guys like Matt Siyama and stuff like that. It's like phenomenal. Imagine this guy had time to work on his golf game. But you said it, just the difference. And the difference is in round 2, he imploded. It's the repetitive nature. That's how good these guys are. Hey, you know what, Brian? You're a wicked golfer. You can go out one day and be a hero, but doing it 2-3 days in a row, that's the problem. Like, how do you follow up a 62? It's almost impossible to do, right? That's what separates these guys from average great golfer, scratch guy who wins the club championship. These guys do it left, right, center all the time. You said it. They're special. Robots.
I walk up, hit a par 3, hit a great shot 10 feet from the hole, make a putt, and go, yay! And then, then the next hole, I got to make a 20-footer for a snowman.
Yeah, that's me too. For me, I'm even worse. You're 100 times better than me. I already know that for a fact. No, that's the thing, Brian. Like I start out with my friends. I remember I'm partying till 3 o'clock in the morning. Last time I went golf, my buddy's ringing my doorbell. I'm like, oh my God, we got like a 5:58 tee time. I'm still drunk. Par, quad 9. Like, okay, we're ready to go. I just walk off I just want to walk off the course. I'm like, wow, I'm even through 6. Then I go 9, like 8, 9. Like that's, you know, oh, I guess I'm sober now. Damn it.
Hey,
like that's the problem with golf, man. Like you can really get in that groove and then the wheels fall off.
Real quick, and maybe we shouldn't do it real quick, but the Italian Open, I mean, Casey's 9-1, Rose is 10-1. Did we just not do this whole thing about the Vegas connection? How is Francesco Molinari 16-1?
He has to be played, and that's the thing. Like people come up and go, "Oh, you're always looking for value." Well, yeah, value is great when you know when it cashes. When you're having a top 10, top 20. Like Cantlay was like 14, 15-1. He comes second. Like that's the thing. You can take these guys at low odds, and I'll tell you something. You give me Francesco Molinari in the Italian Open at 16. That's a good bet. He should be around 8 to 10, not 16. So, yeah, if you can find 16, 18 out there, get clicking, because I'll be doing it, Brian. Like we talked about it, people winning in their backyards. I'm going to go, and Molinari will be bet at that price.
And I think the fact that Lanto Griffin finally filed a protection order, and now that he knows he can't get at him, I'll throw $5 on Justin Harding at 70 to 1. I mean,
why not?
Justin Harding went to Europe. I just got to get away from Lanto Griffin.
That's the thing. He must be watching Lanto with smoke coming out his ears. Like he's going to start trying to win some money too. How do you not take this guy? Like he's checking. Oh my God, Lanto did it again. Yeah, no, he's fuming. Yeah, that's hey, we all got to play a couple bombs, Brian. I'm with you on that one. Yeah, Harding's a good player. People don't know about that guy, but he's very, very underrated.
All right, buddy, you're the best. It's Cam Stewart. We love talking golf. The season that never ends. Well, that's the Betmaker Show for now. We publish multiple times each week. We'd like to thank you for listening, and if you liked what you heard, please take a moment to leave a rating and review, or subscribe to our show feed, or share our show with a friend or two and help us grow the show. We very much appreciate it. Visit us on the web at betmaker.com, and reminder to sign up for the newsletter. Thanks to our engineer, Darren Vandermolen, and producer, Mike Gallivan. The Betmaker Show is a production of Cardinal Marketing Incorporated. Betmaker is a registered trademark. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of this content without the express written consent of Cardinal Marketing Incorporated is strictly prohibited.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction, as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and or interpersonal relationships. At betmaker.com and the Betmaker Show, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling. An approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling. And do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.